Hi, I'm Teresa from Germany and welcome to Getting Started with After Effects. In this tutorial I want to teach you the first basic steps you need to get started in 2D animation in After Effects. If you already have some knowledge or you know about the program, then this tutorial might not be for you. It's only for people who have actually never touched the program. Let's get started and let's not talk so much. We will start by opening the program. I have the Creative Cloud version from 2015. When you open it up, it will take some time, but then you should see a window which looks kind of like this. You might get some warnings depending on your renderer, which you can ignore for now. You will hopefully get a pop-up which looks similar to this. I would like you to open up a new project, even though I will quickly show you what you will be doing today. My screen is a little bit fucked up, but I hope you can still see. What we want to animate today is this short clip of a weird squared head which is running away from a star. Let's watch one more time. It definitely isn't anything special, but it is good to help you getting started. So when you open a new project, your window will look similar to this gray screen. You can click here on standard view and then you will have the same view that I have. Let's have a quick view at the interface. You have a project panel here, which is empty right now, but later you will have your subfolders inside this panel. Next to the project panel are your effect controls. You can click on them, also still empty. Here's the tool panel. We will talk about the tools throughout the tutorials, but I don't think it makes sense to explain them all in detail right now. In this big window is the composition. Here is where you will later see what you're animating, so it's the screen. On the right side you have tons of different panels. The effects and presets is something you might be interested in later on. Right now we can also ignore this one. Down here is your timeline, where we will do most of the animation. Okay, I just had to check the word in English. So to get started, go in the project panel and look on this icon here, which looks like a film strip, if this is correct. Please click it and you will create a new composition. Composition is one script of your animation, one subfolder you might call it. Please rename it. You can name it My First Animation. My settings are usually to HD or full HD and I have 24 frames per second. That means you have 24 pictures shown in 1 second of time. I don't know if you remember the little flip-through books that you maybe drew when you were younger. This would mean that you would have 24 pages shown in 1 second, which creates the movement. For Germany, this is a very common rate. US, I think, is more common to have 25 or 29.97. Let's stick with 24 right now, it's completely fine. When you named it and you found the right settings, which you can do through this dropout menu here, you can click OK. And finally, there's some changes in our view. Okay, now we created our first composition. You can find it here in the project panel. You can see that something changed in your view. It might look black. It could also have this white-gray checkerboard texture. You can turn it off and on through this checkerboard down here. Let's turn it off for now. And you also have a change in your timeline. Now our composition is empty, that's why it's black, there's nothing shown, and we want to change that. Please go in Command Y or Layer New Solid, but for me it's Command Y, get used to the keyframes. This might be a different color depending on your settings. Mine is a light gray solid, which is totally fine for me. We can change the color later on, so don't worry about it. Please name it background. Okay, now you can see that we have a nice, very beautiful gray background here in the view. It is always the same size as your composition when you create a new solid. And because I don't want to change anything about the background, in the timeline, I will click this little lock here. Then I will not accidentally lock the layer. In our animation, I had a funny little square head, and to create it, I first drew the square of the head. You can check in your tool panel up here. There are different options. It's next to the pen tool, so maybe right now yours is showing a circle or maybe a star. We want to have the rectangle. You can either click the Q button a couple of times and it will change to the throughout the panel, or you can click and hold and then it will open up and you can select. Okay, when you have your rectangle tool selected, please go into the viewer, you click, hold, and then you drag, and this way you can create a rectangle. There are two options for the rectangle. You can click and drag somewhere, and then it will go wherever you have your mouse hold. Or you hold Shift, the Shift key, and then it will always be a perfect rectangle. So for me, this one works fine. Looks just perfect. In your viewer, please make sure you have some number of percentage here. Go on fit. If not, let's go on 400. This is very zoomed in or very zoomed out. Go in fit, but sometimes with your mouse wheel you can also scroll in, scroll out, and there's also the keyboard shortcuts to zoom in and out. Right now I would like you to have it on fit so you know how much space your rectangle takes in. Okay, click in the timeline, click on shape layer 1, press enter, and you can rename it. Get used to renaming your layers right away. You will just get confused if you don't do it in the big projects. So right now I will call it head. I know there's only going to be one head in the scene, so I don't have to define it any further. Maybe you're seeing this little symbol here in the middle. And so there's this symbol here. I actually have to check the English word for it. I really don't know. Just a second. Okay, in English it's called crosshairs. In German it would be called Fadenkreuz, which is just beautiful. This language is so nice to listen to. So we have the head now. If you find this, please click Y. If you don't have it, maybe you have to switch your layer controls. Under View, Show Layer Controls, you have to turn them on to see the crosshairs. Press the Y button on your keyboard and then you can move this around. It doesn't change anything right now, but I will show you what it could do. So let's say I will put it down here somewhere. I will show you how to do the animation later, but you see that now if I want to rotate the rectangle, it will rotate about this point. If I have it up here, I would rotate about this point. So right now, please put it somewhere on the line. Maybe we will put it, no, let's put it in the middle. On the line there is 3 scripts that let you put this around on the corner or in the center of an object. I will put a link below if you want to get this free plugin. So when you put this down, we will continue with creating the eyes. For this we need the ellipse tool, or we just press Q until we have the ellipse showing here. I created 2 eyes with a different size. When you do this, please make sure that you don't have the head selected. If you have the head selected, you will create another ellipse inside of the head. which you don't want. You want them to be two separate objects, so it cannot be selected. I go here, I want them to be perfectly round, that's why I hold the shift button, and I will put an eye here. We can move them around later, I will show you how. But this is my eye. I want to change the color of the eye. I don't know which color your eye has, but for me this is not the prettiest eye. But I have to admit I am horrible at coloring, so I usually find some colors online on Adobe Cooler. I can also put this link in the description because I am just really bad with it. So I have a shape layer, it is a circle. I will click on it, press enter to rename it, and I call it I dash L for left. Also what I want to do is I want to take this, so I press Y again, I take the crosshair, I put it in the center. Next thing I want to do is I want to duplicate this. You press Command D for duplicating, and now it is duplicated right on top of the other, so we cannot see it. I click on the I left 2 and I click P. P opens up the position. You are also able to, you see this little arrow here, to have it drop down, and then you have different options. Right now, get used to P for position. And here is the x-axis, here's the y-axis. So x will, if you move it, you can just click it and move it around. And you can see if you go to the left, it goes up, to the right, it goes down. Or if you go to the left, it goes actually to the left, and to the right side, it will go to the right. I want you to move this somewhere to the right side, somewhere where you're happy how he looks. And then I want you to push the S key on your keyboards, which opens up this scale. And I want you to click on the 100 and pan a little bit to the right and make one eye bigger than the other. It just gives a little bit more character. I think it makes the guy look cuter or more interesting. Again, please, while you have selected the eye left second, enter key and name it eye right. This way, you're just always sure what you're animating at the moment. Okay, then what I had was eyebrows. I took the rounded rectangle tool for that. Again, I went here, I just click and drag. I will center, or I will put it, the crosshairs a little bit on the left side in the middle, because I think the eyebrows usually don't turn in the center. I will also give this a new color. If you don't see the colors up here for changing, then it's because you're in the wrong tool. You have to go in the selection tool, you press V, and then you can see the right options up here again. Also, something I just realized I didn't do, which is a huge mistake, is I did not save my project. Command S will save your project. I will name it my first animation. Depending on your computer, After Effects might crash, so I have an autosave of every 15 minutes, and if you keep animating, I recommend you do this too. Now that we have it saved, I have my eyebrow left here, and of course I want to name it this way accordingly. I want to change the color. I'm not good with colors, take your own ones, they will be better than mine. And again, I want to duplicate, so again I press Command D. Then I need to have the eye left second selected. On P, I have the position and I can move it. Also, I will change the crosshairs to the right side, and while I left 2 selected, I will scale it up a little bit. Just put it wherever you're satisfied. Perfect. Now, don't forget, we will... no. I am very smart, I know. I named this eye left. Of course, it is the brow left. And this is the brow right. Okay, so now I will press Q until I have the star symbol. So here's a little thing you can do. If you double click on the star symbol, it will automatically create a star in the middle of the composition. This is okay, it can stay there. I want to give it some color. When you have the star selected, scale it down somewhat and then position it somewhere here. Okay, something I really like to do is I like to separate objects by color. Then I find it easier what I want to animate. This you can do by pushing on this blue button and change the color to whatever colors are in your composition. This is not a big contrast here maybe, but let's take this cyan, beautiful. So now I always know, even though I of course have to name it, I know that the star is here. Okay, now we have to do something very smart. when we have this head, and let's move the position of the head. Okay, we go on P, we select the head, we go on P, and then we move it. As you can see, the head is moving, but the eyes and the eyebrows are not. And it would be quite a pain if we have to move the head, then the eye, then the brow. That's why we do something which is called parenting. We'll select the brows and the eyes. You can do it by selecting the upper, whatever is first you want to select, and then the last, and then you hold Shift. This will select all in between. If you want to deselect something, you hold Command. Of course, this is for Mac. And you can deselect, but we want to have all selected, and then we go on this little snail here to the right side, which you should have always visible. So this little snail is called the Pick Whip tool. You go on any of these four, it doesn't make any difference which one you choose, and you take it, and then a blue line will appear. And this blue line, you go up until the head. So when you reach the head, it will get highlighted, and then you go there and release it. Now, here in the back, you will see 6 head, 6 head. 6 is the number, the layer, and head is the name of it. So now, when we parented it, let's go to head, open up the position by pushing P, and you can see that everything just moves along. We are very happy about that. That worked really great. Another thing I should have mentioned earlier, these layers, the numbers here, do make a difference. So let's check the left eye. The left eye is in front of the head. You have to imagine it like paper lying on top of each other. So if the head, which you can move around in our timeline, is on top of the eye, it will also be on top of the eye in your view. Just keep in mind what you want to have in the front has to have the lesser number, and what is in the back has to have the biggest number. That's why the background has the highest number. Okay, now we are quite set up for starting to animate. Right now we only created, we didn't animate anything yet. What I want you to do is to go on the star symbol, or not on the star symbol, go on the star in the timeline. And I don't know how long your timeline is, I forgot to set it up correctly with you, but move it to something about 6 seconds. You can take this at the very end. You zoom out by clicking here, you zoom in by clicking on the big mountains, zoom out on the small mountains. Take this blue bar at the end of the timeline and move it roughly around 6 seconds. When you go in the middle of the bar, there's 2 arrows that should appear. You right click and you click on trim comp to work area. Therefore, your timeline now is only 6 seconds long, which is totally suitable for our animation. Okay, you click on the star, you have it selected, and then you go on S. S opens up the scale, and here next to the word scale, you have a little time watch. No, it's called stopwatch. Yes, you have a little stopwatch. I want you to click the stopwatch. Now you will see that here a little symbol appeared, a little diamond shape. This is called a keyframe, and it's really important for you to remember. Keyframe is, it says that at this point in time, your star has a scale of 46%. You can take the keyframe and move it around. Let's move it maybe, I don't know, here one frame is maybe even too much, to 12 frames, and then you take the blue bar, the marker, or you click somewhere in your timeline for it to move. So I will put the time ruler here at 4, and in the scale I will change the value by clicking on top of the percentage number. I will click and enter a 0. As you see, now your star disappeared. It's gone. That's good. That's what we wanted, because we said at this point in time the star has a size of 0. So if we go one step further in time, it will animate what's in between. It will animate the star becoming bigger and bigger. That's what it looks like. If you want to hit play, you just hit the space bar and you can see what you just animated. Beautiful! That's your first animation. Now let's continue to make this whole thing more interesting. First, now for the beginning, we're done with the star. I will lock it to not accidentally animate it. Now go on your head. For me, it's a little bit much, it's too close to the star already, so I will move it away. In our animation, I had the star popping up first. When the star pops up, I want to rotate the head. So I will have the head selected, go on rotation, and at a little bit after 12 frames, maybe here you can see the number of frames as well, 14 frames, I want to hit the stopwatch again. So the stopwatch will start your animation. And then I will go forward in time. Let's see, we probably will have to change a little bit later. So I click the little stopwatch, I will go forward in time, maybe to 1 second or 24 frames. And now I want to rotate the head. So I will go here and I click on this value, and again I can go left and right to perform the rotation. Okay, so now our little guy is looking up. I have it on roughly 18%. Of course, you can also enter numbers here. A lot of fun. And you see a second diamond appear here. So we have the 1 keyframe. We say at this point in time the rotation is on 0, and on this point in time it's on 18. Next thing, what I did was making the eyes blink. For now, we're done with the head. I select the left and the right eye. I push the S key on the keyboard to open up the scale, and I hit the keyframe. I have both selected, so in both timelines there's a keyframe selected. Then I go 1, 2, 3, 4 frames to the front, and now we have to cheat a little bit, or not to cheat, but we have to. Now I go 4 steps to the front in the timeline, and now I have to do something interesting. You see this lock or this chain symbol here. I want you to click it on both eyes. This way, when we move one value now, the other value doesn't change with it. Sometimes this can be helpful. What we want to do now is we want to enter a value of 4 here, and you see that the eyes got really flat. Now I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 again, and I will copy the value from the first one, Command C, Command V, and from the second one, Command C, Command V. So now I have this little eye blink. I zoom out in my timeline, I want to check my animation, so I go to the start with the ruler and hit space, and I can see I already have a little cute animation. Okay, what's next? The eyebrows will move, so let's close the eyes by opening and closing these little arrows here. The eyebrows will change their rotation. I will again select both and hit the R key and go for both on the little stopwatch symbol, which didn't work. Now it worked. Don't forget, before you click it, where are you in your timeline? So I want it to be at the eyes blink, then he has some time to think. Maybe here at 43 frames, which you can see here. Now I want the eyebrows to start moving. So I go a little bit in the front timeline, and now I have to change individually the rotation by clicking and dragging here. I want them to go like this. So one has the value of 24, the other one of -33. Okay, I will check it again, hit space. I think the eyebrows are a little bit too fast, so I will select the last 2 keyframes also by click and drop, and then I can move them here. I will move them a little bit to the back. Great. The last thing I want to do is for the head to run away. So I will go back to the head. I will select it. I click P for position. I mark a keyframe. So after the eyebrows are up, I put a keyframe, which you can see in the timeline here with the diamond. Then I go further in the timeline and I move the X value, so the first one, and I move it out of the picture. Let's see how it looks. Okay, not so bad. What I did in the other video is I also moved the eyes. So I opened both eyes, clicked on position, and then I moved them a little bit to the right side. And the same position for the eyebrows. I also move them to the right side, just so it looks more like that he's actually turning while he's running away. Okay, let's look again. The star comes, he's blinking, eyebrows, and running away. So this is not the most amazing animation you will do. This is a very basic animation. There's one last tiny thing I want to show to you. Please unlock the star. Hit T. T is here opacity. It comes actually from transparency. We will make a keyframe by clicking the little stopwatch symbol. We will make it after the guy is out of the picture. We move again the ruler to the front, and then we will turn the opacity to 0. This way you will see the star will fade out because it gets more and more transparent. Okay, what is important to remember? You have to remember a keyframe. Keyframe is a property or the value of your objects in the timeline at a specific point, and changing them throughout the time will actually create the animation. The program will do everything that's in between. You have to remember P for position, S for scale, R for rotation, and T for opacity. These are the ones you will work with most, especially in the beginning. You have different tools for creating shapes. If you want to create free shapes by hand, you also have a pen tool. The program After Effects is quite big, and this is how you get started. So now if you want to export this animation, you want to have that little video, go up here on the typing tool or Command T, and then maybe you can put your name somewhere. Beautiful, and you want to give it as a present. You can go in Composition, Add to Render Queue, where you can render it. Or if you have the media encoder, you can also put it to the media encoder queue and render it here. Render just means it's calculating the animations which you did in between and will give you a video file. I prefer the Windows Media Encoder because it lets you keep working in After Effects. So if you're here, you just click the little Start Queue button, and then you will end up with a little video wherever you choose to save it. So this was my very first tutorial. Please give me feedback if you have any. I would love to learn how to get better at tutorials. Also, ask me questions about the animation. If you have any problems in the beginning, the program can seem huge and you don't know where to start, and little tiny things can keep you from doing exactly what I did. So don't hesitate. And see you next time. Bye.